Josh. I'm the youth pastor here at Seacoast. And I get the pleasure of introducing my friend Braden Haynes here.
What's up, Seacoast?
Braden's fiery this morning. All right. Hey, so as I think about God's faithfulness, and forgive me if someone's already shared this verse this morning, but my job is part youth pastor, part herding cats, so I've had a few distractions. But as I think about God's faithfulness, especially in context of our youth ministry, I think of Psalm 119:90, where it says, "Your faithfulness endures to all generations, and you have established the earth, and it stands fast." And just the blessing that I have working with the youth, firsthand, just seeing God's faithfulness working in this generation, raising up a group of young people whose hearts are on fire for Jesus, and who are standing strong for the gospel, and who are not going to bend or bow down to any other God. Amen. And it's a blessing. And with that, just again, in light of God's faithfulness and celebrating that in his 35 years, and I am confident another 35 and another 35 and another 35 until the Lord brings us all home. I want to introduce you to my friend Braden Haynes. He's going to share a little bit about how God's faithfulness has been just working in his own life. So.
I've been raised in a Christian home. Dedicated my life to Christ at a young age, around age 6. And it was at a place called Awanas. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. But ever since then, because I was so young, I felt that my relationship towards God was kind of just on this steady path. I was never really putting in the effort to grow. I loved God, but I never really, something was missing, right? And it was until 4 months ago I was out surfing D Street. Some of you guys might know me. I love surfing. It's one of my passions. Surfing D Street with all my buddies, and I caught this one wave. I wasn't having that good of a session. Waves weren't coming my way. But I caught this wave, pumped down the line, and the goal was to do an air reverse, which is a frontside 360 in the air. And as I landed on my ankle weird, and it popped, cracked, and I knew it wasn't good. So I had to go in after that, and it was really rocky on the beach, so I had to kind of like shimmy my way up the rocks. And then my friend Jack helped me up the stairs. And as I made it home, I was icing my foot because I knew the swelling was going to get bad. And I stared at the wall. I was pretty in a lot of pain. Like, I was really sad, really bummed that just happened because I knew there was swell coming the next few days. And I was like, my friends were texting me and they're like, "Yeah, Brady, you're going to be able to surf?" And I was like, "Definitely not going to be able to surf." But anyways, I was icing my foot and I stared at the wall and I said these exact words. I'm like, "Now I can't do the thing I love most in life." And I think there's this Bible verse that jumps out to me. I didn't know it at the time, but I found it out recently, and it's John 13:7, and it says, it's Jesus speaking, and he says, "You don't realize what I'm doing, but afterwards you'll understand." And I think a lot of us are going to go through these moments in life where you just don't understand what's going on, but afterwards you'll look back, like Ryan said, and you'll just completely understand, it fully makes sense. And there's another verse, Romans 8:28, where it says, for we know that all things work together for the good to those that love him and that are called according to his purpose. So I think it's pretty cool. Whatever you're going through, eventually it's going to work out for the good. And that's what happened. The last 4 months of my life have just been crazy. I've grown a lot more in my entire life in the last 4 months than really in the last 10 years that I've been focusing on God. And I went up to Hume Lake Christian Summer Camps. It's a week long. I know some of these people over here went with me, but it was one of the best weeks of my life. I grew so much closer to God, and a lot of us came back down the mountain just wanting to rededicate our lives to Christ. And I talked to my buddy Morgan, and we worked it out and decided we're going to get baptized together. So we both got baptized at Seaside. Josh and my dad baptized me, and it was one of my most special moments in my life. And ever since then, I've had this fire and this thirst to read my Bible and want to pray and just dedicate my life to Christ. And I never felt that before. I never wanted to read my Bible. I just felt like I was reading this empty book that I just didn't get anything out of it because I've never been a good reader. But ever since then, I've just come across these scriptures that have just spoke to me, in certain life scenarios. It's just I don't know, I can relate to them in so many different ways. And there's this one verse, right? So I've kind of lived my life. I got a taste. I went to SC. I got a taste of the world, and it wasn't fulfilling. And there's this Bible verse that I came across out of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There's one verse that just really opened up my eyes, and it's Matthew 16:26, and it says, "For what will profit a man if he gains the whole world but forfeits his soul?" And I think that's a crazy verse because it gives you an eternal perspective that none of us are going to die. We're either going to one of two places, and that's a scary thought, but I think it's an important thought to think through. And just the way you spend your life here has a huge impact on where we're going to spend the 2 places. So, yeah, that verse just opened up my eyes and made me not really want to live for the world anymore, just focus my life for Christ. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have. And the last thing I wanted to say is if there's anyone out here, I know we all have our struggles, but what's that thing in your life that's hindering that relationship with God? Because it can get in the way, and sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's just a delete of Instagram that just saves you like 10 hours worth of your day. And that's what it was for me. I just deleted Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, and now I'm grown, you know. So.
We're just pray that you would keep your hand on him, that you would guide his steps. We're so blessed by him and so many other of our young people. And so in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
You.
I'm going to introduce to you the Right Reverend Steve Osborne. He's going to lead us in a time of communion.